So, looks like Nintendo Live is here to stay. If you're not aware, Nintendo Live is, as it says on the tin, a live event that Nintendo has hosted since 2018, featuring game demos, tournaments, and special events like character meet and greets and those Splatoon hologram concerts. There usually aren't any new product announcements during these, so it's not a Space World revival or anything. It's mostly just a big advertising event for their currently available games, but regardless, it is still a neat little gathering space for Nintendo fans. The first few iterations were only held in Tokyo, Japan, but in 2023 it moved over to Seattle, where attendees could preview Super Mario Bros. Wonder for the first time. And then it got even wackier when Nintendo announced in September that it was next bringing the event to Hong Kong and Taipei in November, and Seoul in December. It's cool to see places outside the US and Japan get in on the action, though I guess the lack of a European event so far is pretty glaring now. Maybe in 2024 to make up for the Tokyo event getting cancelled. Man, stuff like this is why we can't have nice things. But as a Hong Konger myself, it's really cool to see Nintendo Live being held here. If you see my video about Nintendo's history here, you'll know that Nintendo has previously set up small events in malls to promote 3DS games, but that's about the full extent of what they've done before the whole lack of support afterwards. Go watch that video for the full background. While they're back to hosting more of these events in the Switch era, Nintendo Live is really the first time I think a Nintendo event of this scale has been held in Hong Kong, since they've never participated in any gaming related conventions here. The largest gaming conventions are usually only attended by Microsoft and Sony. So let's see what Nintendo has in store this time. Nintendo Live 2023 Hong Kong was held on November 25th and 26th at the Hong Kong Convention and Exhibition Center. Though due to popular demand, it ran on a ticketing system that required visitors to make reservations online in advance, so unfortunately I was only able to visit on the first day. The only major difference between each day is the tournament schedule anyway, and those were live streamed on Nintendo of Hong Kong's YouTube channel as well. Funny thing, I brought my 3DS with me, and before I even stepped into the hall, I got a Street Pass hit. But hey, we made it! The venue is laid out pretty similarly to previous iterations. There's the main stage where the tournaments take place, the merch store, and various booths for Mario, Zelda, Kirby, Pokemon, Splatoon, Animal Crossing, Pikmin, and Nintendo Switch Sports. There are a few character figures placed throughout the booths, but nothing on the scale of those in Tokyo or Seattle to my knowledge. While Seattle had a full elaborate Mario Wonder display, for example, we just have Elephant Mario on his own. But hey, it's still pretty neat to see these things up close. Actually, one of the first things I checked out since I felt the line would have gotten long later on was this tote bag workshop here. So every attendee already gets a simple, lightweight bag, but if you crave for more bags, you can get your own tote bag here with your own combination of characters from different series, like Mario, Animal Crossing, and Pikmin. You can't mix and match between series, sadly, they specified that, so I just did a Mario-themed one with a bunch of enemies to make it unique. No Bob-omb sadly, but otherwise the choices here are still pretty good. Got my bag here so we can look around and check out the different meet and greets that are going on. I think the ones that I saw were Mario and Luigi, Kirby, Isabelle, and Detective Pikachu. Unfortunately, they each have their own line, and yeah, lines are kind of the main sour spot here, especially on the first day. Compared to the previous iterations of Nintendo Live, there aren't as many exclusive events or demos to check out here. Folks are mostly lining up to check out demos of games that are already out. There are a few demo variations here and there. For example, the Splatoon 3 booth lets you play multiplayer matches or a demo of the single player mode. The Switch Sports booth occasionally hosts a bowling competition that families can join, and the Zelda booth hosts a challenge where you would complete 3 shrines within a time limit to win a little souvenir gift, which apparently had some of the longest lines in the whole event. Like, one of the staff told me the estimated wait time was several hours at one point, so yeah, I balked on that one. There was an attempt to alleviate the situation as each attendee is given 2 fast passes to get in a faster queue. But it seems that most of the time, the fast pass queues were just as long as the regular ones, so I don't know if they did anything there. The 2 booths I spent the most time queuing in were the Kirby and Mario booths. The Kirby booth is basically demo stations for Star Allies, Forgotten Land, and Dream Buffet. But hey, while waiting in line, I got to see the Kirby mascot character up close. Like 6 years later, I'm still wondering how a person fits in one of these. The line to take photos of Kirby is actually separate from the one for the demo stations though, so no photo op for me unfortunately. Once you finish playing a demo at one of the booths, you get a sticker corresponding to that game series that you can stick onto this complimentary plastic fan. Now, I have no idea how one would feasibly queue up for and play every single demo at the event in one day to get every single sticker for this fan. And jumping ahead a little, as the event neared its closing time, some of the staff members at the booths were actually secretly giving stickers to people who just walked up and asked for them, which is how I was able to get the majority of stickers for this fan, except the Nintendo Switch Sports booth, whose staff members were not as generous. I'm sure this regret will haunt me for the rest of my life. Anyway, I also gave the Splatoon free booth a try, since it's one of the games here that I don't own and also don't have a demo on the eShop, since I was mildly curious about the single player mode. I basically got to play one opening stage and yeah, it's definitely more single player Splatoon. I did really enjoy the single player and Octo expansion in Splatoon 2, so maybe someday I'll get around to getting the game just for the campaign, who knows. Next, lining up for the Mario booth, which was also one of the most popular ones for obvious reasons, I got to take a peek at the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe tournament that was going on, and that was pretty fun to watch. There were some real audience gas moments in there, as expected from Mario Kart. The Mario booth is home to the Mario Wonder demo stations obviously, but also the Mario Dojo. So in the Seattle Nintendo Live, Mario Dojo was an elimination-style competition where participants play through free Mario games and there's a whole finals competition and everything. Unfortunately, Hong Kong's Mario Dojo is not as flashy. You basically play through 3 different Mario demos, Super Mario 3D World, New Super Mario Bros. U, and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and fulfill super easy conditions in each of them to ultimately win some Mario-themed folders. So yeah, a little underwhelming compared to its overseas counterpart. And as I said, there aren't any exclusive performance events here either, so no Zelda Orchestra or Mario Big Band unfortunately. Not that I was really expecting them to bring out the big guns for an event in Hong Kong, so hey, one step at a time here. Actually, I take it back, they had an Everybody 1-2 Switch session, this event is saved. I suppose the last thing to take a look at here is the merch store. As I mentioned before when I talked about the Kirby pop-up store they briefly opened here last year, there aren't a lot of official outlets for Nintendo merch here in Hong Kong. And the few permanent Nintendo affiliated stores they have usually just have games and not a lot of merch. So having a place here to get official Nintendo merch from is pretty great. I mean, sadly this place was only gonna last 2 days, but hey, after Nintendo Live was over, they announced a Nintendo pop-up store in Hong Kong, and that was gonna last over a month. A lot of merch here is actually present in the pop-up store too, which I'll talk about in a bit. So to avoid being redundant, I think I'll save the detailed descriptions for when we get there. However, I will give them credit that there is one item here that is actually exclusive to this event. It's this hoary game card holder with an additional Nintendo Live Hong Kong logo added onto it. They can't get away with this. So yeah, a quick look at Nintendo Live in Hong Kong. It's a shame that it's not as grand as its other iterations, but hey, it is Nintendo's first large-scale event in Hong Kong, so I'll cut them some slack. As a glorified and demo-filled marketing campaign, it did its job perfectly fine, and I got like 12 street passes out of the whole thing. I feel like there was definitely a lot more demand and interest here than Nintendo expected, if the overload of the online booking system and the super long lines for booths were any indication. So perhaps there's hope that they may scale up their future events here if they continue. And maybe the Nintendo Hong Kong pop-up store is part of the grand plan. Open from December 15 to January 28, it opened at the same place as the Kirby pop-up store last year at the K11 Art Mall in Tsim Sha Tsui. But rather than a temporary space in the middle of the atrium, this time they got full-on store space. I visited it on its first day of opening, fully knowing I was going to be standing in line like mad and I would have no need to do that if I went like a few weeks after, but anyway, it was like an hour-long wait. I'm pretty sure I spent more time queuing for one of the booths than Nintendo Live. The main draw of the pop-up store is that they were gonna bring over items that were previously exclusive to the official Nintendo stores in Tokyo, Osaka, and Kyoto. And it also just happened that I visited the Nintendo Tokyo store in Japan back in August last year, so I already kinda did my big shopping spree there. I am planning to talk about my entire trip to Tokyo sometime soon on my second channel, so I'll talk about that store later. But between then and now, there have also been new Nintendo store exclusive items released, so this would be a good chance to see what's new. I obviously won't be able to talk about everything on display here, this is just a general overview plus the things that I find the most interesting. Also, in the next few weeks that I visited the store afterwards, they rearranged the space here and there and added new items, but most of what I'm covering here is the store on day one. Right at the front of the store, we have a display of the Nintendo Store exclusive figurines, which originally came in a series of 4 and are hecking expensive at a little over $60 US. I did get the Mario one when I was in the Tokyo store as a neat collectible and because the yen was cheap, but I pity whoever wants to buy a full set. Like, if you have the money to throw around, then you can definitely get a set of 4 plus the display stand for all of them. But then they go ahead and add a Pikmin one to the mix just to mess with you. Aside from the statues, there are all sorts of other exclusive merch featuring the key art for the Nintendo stores, from tote bags to water bottles and stationery. The one thing that caught my attention though was this pin set. I mean, since I seem to have been slowly amassing a bunch of Nintendo pins, from the Kirby 30th anniversary pin, to the My Nintendo coin pins and the Mario 35th anniversary ones, sure, why not add one more to the collection? They also have the official Nintendo Tokyo shirts, available in red and gray, and also coming in these neat tube packages. But 368 Hong Kong dollars is definitely a bit on the high side for a fairly simple shirt. It's 4,800 yen over in Japan, so if I really ever were to get this shirt, it would probably straight from Japan still. The rest of the store is roughly divided into areas for 5 series: Mario, Zelda, Kirby, Animal Crossing, and Pikmin. It makes sense that these are the 5 biggest Nintendo IP that are also marketable to casual audiences at the moment. I think over in the Japan stores they do have merch based on other franchises like Metroid, but yeah, just having the heavy hitters in the temporary pop-up store makes sense. Naturally, there's a lot of Mario merch here. There's a whole rack of the usual plushes, Buzzy Beetle fans can rejoice, and there's also different types of stationery and kitchenware. There's these different Mario towels, similar in style to the Kirby ones I found in the Kirby pop-up store, which is pretty neat. You can have a white t-shirt that just proudly displays the Super Mario logo if you want, or get this bag that looks just like Mario's overalls. Not judging. This P-switch-shaped coin bank here is a pretty cool concept, and also this gold pole pen with an accompanying base that's probably not very practical but will look very sick on your table. Oh, shoutouts to this series of Mario power-up themed items that uses both old and new 2D artwork of all these Mario power-ups. It's kinda wild to see the Galaxy power-ups get this much recognition, but it's very welcome. Part of the Mario section here is dedicated to the classic game, so you have these folders with old Japanese box art on them. Weird that it's just Mario World and USA though, perhaps they haven't restocked the others yet. And down here we have these replica cartridges that actually open up with memo pads inside them. I bought the Mario World one out of curiosity, and yeah, the memo pads are just separately included in there, which means someone could probably think of some funny use for the cartridge-shaped case. Next to the carts, we have some really cool Famicom-themed merch, including these notebooks and a Famicom tote bag, the latter of which I actually bought one of in Nintendo Tokyo. So it's nice to see it here too, though there are a few retro-themed items that I noticed weren't in this Hong Kong store, including the Famicom Disk System-themed card holders and the t-shirts themed to Mario box art. Walking into the Animal Crossing section, it's mostly villager plushes, obviously, but I kinda like this entire set of clothes and tools all themed around the Happy Home Paradise DLC in New Horizons. If you really like the Paradise Planning Hawaiian shirt, hey, you can get one in real life here. Over here in the Pikmin section, of course we have plushes of every type of Pikmin and the captains themselves, and down below we have the Bulborb plushes and also the Bulborb shaped purses, which look very funny. One particular omission I noticed on the first day here is the lack of an Ochi plush. The only Ochi related thing there was this memo pad holder-ish thing, but I did come back to the store sometime later in January and the Pikmin dog was finally there. There's of course also the wind-up toys featuring different Pikmin creatures. You can buy a random one or just get the full set if you want. Also, the regular Pikmin plushes are cool and all, but check out these mini keychain Pikmin. Look at them, they're so goofy looking, it's great. If you've seen my video on the Kirby pop-up store in Hong Kong, then you'll probably know what we're getting in the Kirby section. A lot of the Kirby plushes here were also in that store, so I definitely recommend checking that video out if you haven't. But I did notice some new stuff being added, such as this new Magolor Epilogue plush, look at his little cat ears. And this traditional teacup set also looks very nice. Next up, Splatoon, which of course like every other series has plushes of the Inkling and Octoling forms. Those come in small and big sizes as well. You have Judd and Lil Judd, and I think all of the idol characters are here as well. Shoutouts to the Big Man plush, and also Salmonets, little guys. You can have a little guy on wheels. But what's also interesting is that there's quite a few Splatoon themed gear. Of course you got bags, pouches, and stationery, but also umbrellas because, you know, Splatbrellas. And also Splatoon themed cutlery for some reason. I don't recall hearing about spoons and forks in Splatoon lore other than that one Splatfest, so you guys tell me. If you really love Salmon Run though, they have got you covered. Here's some Salmon Run uniforms and gloves, a Salmon Run mesh bag, and a Salmonid frying pan. Do you not want a Splatoon themed frying pan? And finally, we have the Zelda section, which means that's right, Korok keychains. You can also get the chibi plush designs of Link and Zelda, which I personally feel I'd prefer stuff like figures for these kinds of designs. But honestly, the coolest Zelda merch here in my opinion has to be the pins and keychains. They all look so shiny and detailed. For the pins, you've got icons like the Royal Crest, Heart Container, Ocarina of Time, and Majora's Mask. And for keychains, those are pretty sizable as well. You got the Sheikah Slate, a boss key, and the best one, Lon Milk. These might be the best keychains in the store actually. Okay, last but not least, you can't really have a Nintendo store without a game section, but it was kinda just sitting at the back of the store. You can of course snag Switch consoles and accessories from here, but I imagine there's plenty of places in Hong Kong where you can get them for cheaper, so there's nothing too remarkable here. Otherwise, this is still a pretty substantial store for Nintendo merch, especially here in Hong Kong. If I hadn't already paid a visit to the Tokyo store, I probably would have snagged quite a lot of things from here. But some of the items here are also a little pricey, and if you're just there to get the regular merch like the plushies, there may be cheaper places or ways to import them here. I know for example some toy and model stores will sell Kirby merch every now and then because he's pretty popular. But hey, I did end up getting some of the more exclusive things like this Nintendo Tokyo pin set, the Mario World cartridge memo pads as previously mentioned, and also the Mario Power-Up themed file because I just think the artwork looks neat. And so is the free poster with the official Nintendo Store artwork that you get with any purchase at the store. It's a pretty long one, so definitely a worthwhile bonus. Link's so nice they put him in there twice. Overall, it is honestly very cool to see Nintendo finally do large-scale events like these in Hong Kong. And I hope you enjoyed this look at both of them if you've yet to check out one in person yourself. Of course, this will hopefully be the beginning of a trend where they start doing Nintendo Live and pop-up store events in other countries as well. But you know what? If anyone from Nintendo Hong Kong is somehow watching this, hey, you guys should totally go all the way. Make the store permanent, have a Zelda concert, bring the Kirby Cafe here, sky's the limit, who needs logistics?